What do you use to record?
Just Zoom, the built-in recording functionality inside Zoom
Oh, beautiful.
works
Okay.
great. They give the option to record in the cloud or record on your local machine. I always choose local machine in case anything happens with the internet connection. Then you still
Right.
get a good recording. But yeah, it's
Right.
pretty cool, and it compresses the video file really nicely, actually, too. So you don't end up with let's say
A
it is a
massive.
2-hour meeting. It's not like a 10 gigabyte file. It's usually like
Right.
at the most a gig or something, but probably
Nice.
usually smaller than that. You're usually around
Nice.
a few hundred
Nice.
megs. Yeah, so it's
Okay.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so item number 1: review the map and the strategy. Any questions about that? So it's like basically the funnel map that I create that says, okay, this is the opt-in page with the topic. This is the funnel is going to have 3 videos. It's going to have a sales page. Maybe it's going to have a webinar. That's the funnel map that we're talking about here.
Do you have an example just pulled up anywhere close by that you can show me? I just want to quickly see.
Yeah, let me go. I use a really simple app to build these mind maps called bubble.us. So I'll just go.
Oh yeah, that's
log
what I
into
use.
my account here. Oh yeah,
Nice.
okay.
Yeah, I use that.
It's handy, simple, easy peasy.
Yeah.
So for example, we just started WenDD this project, right? So we'll look at that one. And I don't know if you can actually read anything. Can you read the bubbles?
Yeah. So how to hug a gangster. Fight for your right to party. Nice. Okay.
So basically,
Okay.
typical structure: opt-in page, and then here's some starting copy for Sophia to work with, and then video 1, video 2, video 3, sales page. So you can see the basic structure.
Okay. Yeah, just a sequence. Okay. Boom.
Yeah. So most funnels will typically look like this. Let me pull up another one that maybe that's a little more complicated. Here's the one that we made for Colleen. Let's see. Basically the same thing: opt-in page, video 1, video 2, video 3, sales page. In this one, I actually pre-scripted what the email subject lines would be as well. Sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't.
Okay.
But the basic nuts and bolts are still the same.
Yeah.
And let me see if I can call up another one. I can show you the one that I made for Rick way back when. This is a little crazy, wild and crazy, because he wanted to do a few different things. Actually, this is the simplified version. But again, it's basically the same thing. So this one I added in the traffic sources, various types of potential traffic, and then main landing page, opt-in page. And then again, it's all, I might structure it slightly differently, but it's basically always the same sort of
Right. Kind of infrastructure. Yeah.
Okay. Any questions?
Nope, that's all good. Yeah. So, well, I guess so. After your entry meeting, you put this together, and then you send this, probably to Sophia, myself, and whoever else who is involved.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So step 1 for me, I have the meeting with the client, and then I create that, and then I typically will send it to them, get their approval, and then send it off to you guys. I might send you the draft as well, but you don't necessarily want to take action on it until I actually say, okay, the client's approved it, go and have fun with it.
Okay. Great.
But that's basically what it looks like. And then usually also there's an email that accompanies that goes into a little bit more detail. I don't know if you've seen one of those for me, like on the Wendy project, for example. I did send an email. I think I forwarded it to you. It was originally only to Jared and Sophia, but I believe I forwarded it to you. Is that correct? Does that ring a bell?
It does not. No, I don't think so.
Let me see if I can grab it here. Let's see. That's not the one. Actually, search for Sophia. Here we go. You can't see the email, right? You only see my browser at this point.
Yeah, only your browser, yeah.
Let me share the email instead. New share. Mail Gangster Goddess.
I love that. It's so funny.
Wendy's a cool girl. A cool lady. You like her.
Yeah, nice.
Okay, so this is typically, when I write an email, I tend to write small novels. So it'll typically look kind of like this.
No worries. Okay.
just kind of outlines like, okay, here's what the thing is, here's what you're looking at, here's the funnel pieces, and then it explains each piece of the funnel just a little bit.
Right.
If I'm referencing anybody, like maybe I'll reference some other expert out there in the space, kind of to validate the model or whatever. Because a lot of these clients, they have no clue. It's like, why are we using this kind of model? Does it really work? And so just giving them a little bit of an idea of some background of why sometimes. Some people need it, some people don't,
Yeah.
So in this case, she's launching a book. So I also included some ideas for bonuses that she could offer for free with a book during her launch period, to help go for bestseller status. But yeah, that's basically what this looks like. And then of course it has the funnel app attached.
Yeah.
Any questions or comments about that?
Nope, it's all good.
Okay. So you do not have this email, right?
Yeah, I do not know.
Okay, I'm going to forward it to you now. And there's also one additional follow-up email that I will forward to you as well, because we changed a couple of little tiny things after we had a follow-up meeting. I'll give you that too. Follow map changes, here we go. And so Sophia, just as a side note, she has started working on the copy.
Nice, okay.
So she should have the first draft of that stuff over to us soon. She's going to be traveling soon, so her goal is to have that done before she travels.
Do you know when she's heading out? Probably.
I think it's later this week or it's next week. It's very soon, very soon. I don't remember the exact date. Let's see. Let's see if she said here. Yeah, so she's actually leaving on Wednesday, the 26th to the 2nd, she'll be gone. And then the 2nd to the 9th, she'll be gone. So we might have copy from her already, hopefully by Wednesday.
Okay.
Preliminary plan. That's the challenging part of all these projects is timelines tend to shift.
Exactly. And everyone's schedule's different. It's like a puzzle. It's a big puzzle. Trying to match the pieces together. Yeah,
it's big. I think one of the benefits to me and my personality is I'm really flexible. It's like kind of like, okay, whatever goes. At the same time, sometimes it's to a fault. So that's why I'm leaning on Jared a little bit to provide a little more structure and, kind of hold people to the original dates as best as possible. That way it flows for everybody.
Exactly. And then we can kind of get into a flow state. That's the key, right?
Exactly. Yeah. That's what we clearly have not achieved yet, but we will.
It's all good. Yeah. It takes a bit of time.
Yeah. It takes a little time. All right. Any other questions, comments about that particular?
Nope. All clarified.
Okay. I'll just write cool over here. We completed it. Excuse me 1 second. My neighbor's here.
No problem.
Servus. Hallo. Ich habe gerade ein Meeting, es dauert noch 1,5 Stunden oder so. Kommst du nachher vorbei noch einmal?
Vielleicht komme ich noch vorbei.
Oder halt morgen, ja.
Kommst du morgen?
Wir kommen zurück.
Ja.
Du hast Geld. Tschüss. Okay, sorry about that.
No worries.
All right. Okay, so number 2, create video 2 page on ClickFunnels or WordPress. Does that make any kind of sense to you?
Can you show me an example? I guess every time I see an example, then I'll know.
Yes, absolutely. So my intention when I start each project and create the funnel map, the very next thing that I'm supposed to do is create the look and feel for the opt-in page and the video 1 page. So more than likely, the look and feel of those will be done by the time you start any work inside ClickFunnels. And so I'll show you those pages, what they typically look like. And then basically you use that as foundation to create the video 2 page, which is what this specific task is.
Okay.
So I'll log into Colleen's ClickFunnels account and we'll keep using the Epic system as our little demo here. So the Epic system. So typically, I will provide you with an opt-in page that looks something like this, right? Depends on the client, of course, but so you'll have this to start with. So it'll have the color scheme, it'll have the the fonts, like everything will be pre-established as far as the visuals go.
Yeah.
And then also the quote unquote video 1 page, you can also call it the opt-in confirmation page. I will also give you this, which will have the look and feel for what most of the other video funnel pages will look like.
Right.
So at this point, those are the only 2 pages in the funnel that will exist. So if we're looking at the ClickFunnels list of funnel pages here, it'll just be this and this when you start the project.
Right.
And then basically what you can do from here is you can copy this page and basically you're just duplicating it, creating a clone, and then rename it to be video 2, have the proper URL based upon whatever the title of the video is.
Right.
So we can go through the routine right now, actually, if you'd like, of all those specific things that you need to do when you get to this point. You want to do that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Okay. Any questions about what I just said or general questions before we do that?
No, not at all. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. So what I would like to do, I'm going to create a copy of this funnel. Let's see. Thinking. Yeah, I'm going to create a quick copy inside my account, so I don't screw anything up for her as I show you. I don't know if you've used this feature of ClickFunnels before, but after you create a funnel, you can actually share the entire funnel with another ClickFunnels user by just going to the funnel settings and then going to share funnel.
Okay.
And it gives you a website address. And you can just give this to whoever you want, or in this case, I'm going to log out of Colleen's account and log into my own. And then I'm going to go to this address, paste it in after I've logged in, and it actually creates an entire copy of the funnel inside.
Wow, that's interesting. Interesting, okay.
So it's pretty cool.
And does all the back end information also integrate with this? Like, for example, if it's linked to a email nurturing system, et cetera, would that also be all linked? Like, or is it all?
Yeah. Unfortunately, no, it's just the web pages.
Just the aesthetics and the copy, of course.
Exactly. However, there is another feature for the action funnels, which is also another name for an autoresponder sequence. There's the exact same feature for that. So you just have to copy it over separately and then physically link them together.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
So you can kind of do that, but it's not automatic.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and I would imagine since I've been using ClickFunnels about a year now, and since I started, they've already they keep expanding the features. So I imagine another year from now, maybe that will be a possibility.
Right. Okay. And so when you build the funnels, do you already have the copy intact? Like you already have the copy from Sophia, or are you kind of building the aesthetics and then you insert the copy when you receive it?
Pretty much building the aesthetics and then integrating the copy when it's received. Yeah.
Okay.
It'll kind of depend upon the timeline. I'm also trying to do things like we're doing a lot of the things we're doing as a team, we're doing together for the first or maybe at the most the second time as a team.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different than in the past because typically I'm doing all of this myself, right? So pretty much I would just do it as I create it. Like it's all over the place, all randomly kind of done in different orders.
Right.
But I mean, the ideal scenario, if it works for the timeline that we create at the beginning of the project, would be Sophia writes most of the pieces. And then when you start your segment, you've got everything and you can just plug it in. It's kind of more time efficient that way, right? So
exactly.
That's the goal. That's the goal, is that we get to that point.
Okay. Yeah. Great. That would be perfect.
Yeah. So we have a clone copy of this entire funnel now, at least from a web page standpoint. So I can show you. So let's say I provided you with the opt-in page and the video 1 page. So to create a copy of the video 1 page, to create a video 2 page from it, you just simply hit the clone funnel step button right here.
Okay.
And that will physically create a copy of that page inside the funnel. However, it doesn't automatically add it to the left-hand column of funnel pages. It's kind of like a hidden page right now. So you also need to then just click this blue button that says add to funnel.
Okay.
And so you'll see at the bottom here, there's no, this copy that we just made doesn't appear here. However, if you click add to funnel, give it about 3 seconds, it now does appear here.
Nice. Okay. And then you drag it out.
Exactly. Now, until, let's say you clone it and you forget to click the blue add to funnel step button, it still does exist down here under these hidden pages. So you don't have
Okay.
to sweat it if you forget that step. You can just come back here and find it, and then
Then
but
add
then
it.
then at that point you just drag it up towards the top. Guess I'll have to drag it a couple times here. Put it in the second position, and then you start changing the properties of the page.
Right.
So I'm not sure if you're familiar with the quote unquote proper order to change page URLs and stuff. So I'll go through that with you real quick as well.
Yeah,
And
sure.
ClickFunnels changed this functionality a little bit within the last couple of months. It used to work slightly differently. So there's something called a funnel step URL, which is this. And then there's something called a page URL, which is over here under the settings for the split test version of the page.
Right.
So you used to actually, if there was only one split test variation, there wasn't two copies of the page, you used to be able to set this URL and this URL to be the same, but you cannot do that anymore. So when you're setting the URLs, you need to make sure that they are unique. And the order that I usually do it in is I will set this one first, and then I will set this one afterwards.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we'll do that right now. So we'll come over here to publishing and set the first one. So let's just call it, again, usually I'll say video 2, and then whatever the topic is, topic of this video. And then the path would be topic dash of dash this dash video.
Okay.
And from a traffic standpoint, like whatever the path we specify here, like that would be the URL that we use in a Facebook ad, for example.
Okay, yeah. This is it. Okay.
Yeah, so now that I changed the name of the funnel step and the actual URL path, I'm going to hit the green update funnel step button. And as you can see now, it has that new address.
Yeah.
So now we need to do the same thing for the actual page variation. So it's going to be topic of this video, and then I'll either add the word dash page or just add a 1, whatever you think looks the best. You can pretty much choose what you want to call this address here.
Okay.
And then same thing here, you want to call this video to topic of this video, whatever that might be. We'll update the page. So we've set 2 URL parameters. This is the one that we're always going to drive traffic to.
Okay, yeah.
And this is the one that people will actually end up seeing in the browser. So I'll show you also, if we actually go to this address here, a new tab, paste it in here. So topic of this video, that's the address we're going to. And that's the address that loads initially. But then it's going to redirect to the second address, the split test variation address.
Colleen Ann here to tell,
which has the 1. So that's the thing that's kind of could be confusing if you're setting up the Facebook campaign, for example, and you're copying and pasting addresses. You want to make sure you don't use this one in the Facebook ad or whatever the traffic source is, because it'll limit it to just the split test variation if we do decide to do a split test.
Right. Okay.
So if it's only one variation, which is the most case, it's probably only one variation, especially for the video pages. It's not the end of the world, but it's better to use the actual funnel step address. This is cleaner.
When it comes to the split testing, do you add extra, like for the client, do you charge them extra to do the split test, or is it just, you can do part of the project?
It depends. So for an opt-in page, typically if they want a split test, I'll include a second or third variation. Like I'll typically do up to 3 if that's what they want. Usually I'm pretty confident with the opt-in pages, and so I won't actually do a split test unless the initial results aren't good. Like with Tom Ramsey right now, we're split testing his karate funnel, and the opt-in page it's performing very bad. So I just automatically created 2 additional variations to see if we can get it better. Because it's really, I'm surprised it's performing really, really bad. The ads are performing well, but the opt-in page is performing really bad. So, I didn't go and say, hey, I want to charge you extra or anything. I just decided I'm just going to do it,
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, so with an opt-in page specifically, I will do maybe 3 variations if it's necessary.
Yeah.
Some of the clients request it up front. So if they request it up front, it's like, okay, we'll do it. But typically, 80% of the time they don't request it. And so it's only done if it's really necessary.
Okay.
With any of the other funnel pages, if they would want to split test, then I would ask for an extra investment because it's a lot of extra work to customize a lot of different pages, right?
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
So, any questions? Let's see. So far we've duplicated the video 1 page, renamed it with the name and the URL to say video 2, and whatever the topic is, right?
Yeah.
Typically, just as a side note, I usually don't call it video 2, video 3, because people can kind of hack the funnel and predict, like just rename the address to say video 2 or
Right.
video 3. So that's the reason that I usually don't do that.
So you keep it pretty unique that way. Okay.
Right. Yeah. That's just kind of a side note.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, good to know.
But once that's done, that's pretty much all you have to do on this page. There's nothing else that you really need to modify except for, of course, the page itself with swapping out the video to contain the actual video number 2. And let's go look at it real quick, actually. There's a couple other things, actually. Small changes. Okay. So typically, we're going to just delete this headline that says "Congrats, video 1 is now playing." If that's there on the version that you get,
Yeah.
we don't need to say that anymore. And then we'll just modify these things to be highlighted rather than video 1 being highlighted. It would be video 2.
Right.
So
Okay.
like this will change the color to white, and this will change the color to white. All the little cosmetic things.
Yeah.
This with bold text as well. Change it all to white. And then same thing here. We'll change this to the
Kind of dark
transparent
gray.
white. Yeah, so just move it over there. Typically, it's quicker doing it this way. So, the basics of the aesthetics there.
Yeah.
Of course, make this say step 2, and then video title goes here. And then just swap out the video address here with the new one. Sometimes the video actually won't exist quite yet when you create this page, so you just have to come back and add it later,
Okay. Yeah.
Also, depending upon if there's a call to action in the video or not, usually on video 2, the only call to action is to leave a comment. So typically, in most cases, you can just delete this button.
Okay.
Because we won't be requesting them to fill out another survey after video 2. It's only after video 1.
Yeah.
So you can delete that. And the Facebook comments will be here. Of course, the Facebook comments, you want to set the website address to the correct address. Typically,
Okay.
I just make this the main URL for the funnel. So if it's like, for example, you will notice there's some bugs in ClickFunnels. Like what I just did just now is all I did is click and drag inside that field.
Now it's a glitch. Yeah.
It looks like this. So you just got to resize the browser, kind of drag it around, and then it goes back to being normal.
Okay. Good to know.
So again, I'll just make it the main funnel URL. So just like in the case of Tom's black belt funnel, it's just tomskarate.com. So typically I'll include visible 30 posts, but that's pretty much all you have to do there.
Okay. Easy peasy.
Yeah.
Like
And
that,
the footer you can usually leave alone as well. So it's pretty much just swapping out the content and making sure the aesthetics here are good. Also, another thing that should be done is like this is video number 2. It'd be nice to link the old video 1 to the actual URL for video 1 so that people can go backwards and rewatch video 1 if they want. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So there's that. But other than that, that's pretty much it. And then you do the exact same thing for video number 3.
Okay.
And then with video number 3, we might add on a button here. If in video 3 we're already talking about the offer, then we might add a button that goes to the sales page.
Right. Okay. Which it typically does, right?
Yes, it typically does. Sometimes strategically we want to create a little more anticipation, so we don't include it until another email goes out. But typically it will. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Kind of depends upon what feels right during the design phase. So any questions about this step?
No. Oh, what's up?
Another thing, under settings, the SEO metadata, that also needs to be changed. So this should have whatever the title of this video is as well. And it's not so much for SEO purposes. It's mainly like if people share the link on Facebook and whatnot,
Exactly.
that
Yeah.
everything shows up properly.
Yeah. It always comes up when you do the advertising. So.
Yeah. So ultimately, we want to change the title. The description, it's nice to have a little description too. If there isn't one, it's not the end of the world, especially again, because if it's video 2, we don't really want people to share video 2. We want people to share the opt-in page. So,
yeah,
but it's nice. It would be nice if we get into the habit of including it here, but it's not the end of the world if we don't.
Yeah.
And same thing with the social image. So with the opt-in page and with video 1, I'd say it's nice to have a social share graphic here for sure. It's not as important with video 2 and video 3 because again, we want people to be sharing the other stuff.
Right.
But once we create one for video 1, then it can just be used for the others as well. So typically you basically want to populate these fields.
And what would you use for the image? Like, would you use like the logo? Or would you use, for example, a snapshot of the page? What would you typically use for that?
I might use a snapshot of the page, B, a screenshot from the video, if it's like an entertaining pattern interrupt kind of thing, depending upon what it is.
Yeah.
Or if you're creating Facebook ads, probably just a copy of one of the ad graphics as well. If the copy is in alignment with what the opt-in page or the video is, then just simply using that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's all. That's all that has to be done here. Let's see, just making sure I'm not missing anything. Oh, tracking code. So on video 2, video 3, we're not going to use any custom tracking code. However, on video 1 and on the sales page, we do want to use a custom Facebook tracking code there.
Okay.
Are you familiar with which ones we would want to use?
Yeah, so that's where it gets complicated for me because I've never done actually more like in-depth funnel / advertising, right? I've always done kind of one-offs, so that's where it gets a little bit tricky.
Okay.
And so when I saw yours, I was like, oh, like why did he choose that, but how did he choose?
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we'll review that as well. We'll do that under the quote-unquote Facebook segment of this call.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'll leave it for now, but we'll talk about that real soon here. So, okay, so any other questions about creating? So let's go back to the list here. So create video 2 page on ClickFunnels or WordPress. So that's a question. So if the client says, you know what, I really don't want to use ClickFunnels, if they're like Peggy and they say I have a bad feeling about it,
yeah.
Would you be okay doing this in WordPress?
Right. So that's where it gets a little bit tricky. I guess, do we have themes that we use in WordPress that I can literally kind of drag and drop or, to that degree or
yeah, I found a theme that I really love because the functionality is super similar to ClickFunnels.
Nice. So I've used WordPress a lot, but I haven't built something from like scratch, but I use it on my current clients, editing, adding pages, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay. Let me show you real quick. I'm using one for Peggy, the theme that I like. I'll show you a quick tour of it. It's pretty darn cool. It's a little buggy, like ClickFunnels is a little buggy with some things. This theme is a little buggy with some things. It's one of those things, but it's still better than going and writing code from scratch in terms of time.
Yeah.
Up until about a year ago, when I did do a WordPress theme, a custom WordPress theme, I did it from the ground up.
Really?
Yeah, and it was pain in the neck every single time. But
yeah.
But before I found this theme work, I could never really find one that allowed me to customize it really the way that I wanted to. So
right.
But this one is pretty cool now. So
have you found a reason why people wanted to use WordPress instead of ClickFunnels? Like, I know the only thing I can really think of is maybe the SEO. I don't know. Other than that, like, is there a reason why Peggy wanted to use WordPress instead, or
comfort zone?
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Now she is finally over the edge with ClickFunnels, so we're setting up some things now. So, I think she's going to get comfortable with it in the coming months. But she's one of those gals. She likes the comfort zone. Like, she's used to one shopping cart. She's used to WordPress.
Right.
She had somebody redesign her website. So I created the overall main look and feel, and then he took it from there and actually implemented it inside WordPress. And so, like, even when she upgraded her site with a new theme, it was a nightmare experience for her because everything was a bit different in the back end. So even though she got what she wanted, sticking with WordPress, it ended up being, it's like, some clients, they're used to what they're used to, and change is hard. It's like anything in life. Sometimes change is just simply hard, right?
Right, right.
Yeah. So some clients are like that. I'm trying to be more choosy in the future. Like if they say they don't want to use ClickFunnels, maybe I won't even take them on as a client because
Yeah, kind of
we need,
specialize.
yeah, we need to, this is 2017.
Yeah,
That being said, now that we have this new theme for WordPress, things are much better. So I'm definitely more willing to do it again now. But the reality is, it's still it's more effort. It's a lot
yeah,
more effort.
yeah.
One of the other reasons that people will want to stick with WordPress is because they think it's cheaper, because they say, oh, I have a web hosting account where I'm paying, maybe
Right.
$10 a month or $5 a month if they pay for the year in advance.
Yeah,
But what they don't realize is they still need an e-commerce solution. They still need email marketing. So when they add up all these separate services at the end of the day, they're going to be paying about the same, maybe even more, maybe
right.
slightly less, depending on what the services are.
Yeah,
But they have all the headaches associated with all these different things, right? So
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay.
the geeky people, not that we have a lot of clients that are geeky, but a lot of people don't like the idea of having everything all in one basket. Like everything's on ClickFunnels. So if ClickFunnels goes down, they're out of business essentially, right?
Right,
So
right.
that's another reason not to go and use it. But um, the bottom
Yeah,
line, in my opinion, is it's such a great solution now, and Kajabi as well. It's another great solution. It's a little
right.
bit more complicated to get things up and running with Kajabi, but it's a great solution too. So, that's what I would advise all of our clients to do, is use one of these platforms rather than WordPress.
Especially if they want to take over too, if they want to customize stuff. WordPress is such a pain in the butt for most people, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Plus, with updates, like every couple of weeks, there's new updates coming out. Eventually, something's going to break.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me real quickly show you this theme, though. Let me show you.
So wait, is it live, the new Peggy website, or?
Yeah, she essentially has two websites. So she has PeggyMcCall.com, which is built on the WordPress that her other dude built for her. And then there's PeggyMcCall.com/go, which is the one that I built for her on this new theme.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So there's kind of like a site in the site. But yeah, there's a bunch of pages. I forget when I guess we started using this last year sometime. We built a lot of pages. There's 8 pages of pages here. So
Yeah,
we've been using it for a while.
There's so many. Yeah.
She loves to create ideas and implement, as you know. So
Yeah.
things grow real fast. But let me show you one of the sales pages. The 21, the author, this one. Yeah, let me show you this one. I'm going to edit the page. And just to check on time, you've got 1 more hour, right? Essentially, a little bit less than 1 more hour.
Until 10. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so this is the edit page of a page in WordPress, right? So this is what it looks like with this theme. There's something called the visual builder, which I'm going to activate in a second.
Use that before, yeah.
But if you scroll down here, you can also modify the sections and rows and elements all here as well in this format if you want. I don't typically use it all that much unless there's an issue. But let's switch to the visual builder, and you'll see it's very similar to the ClickFunnels page builder.
Yeah, I've actually used it with a previous client before, so I'm kind of familiar with it for sure.
Cool.
I haven't used it in about 4 months, but I don't know if it's updated since. But
okay, cool. So just like with ClickFunnels, you've got sections, you've got rows, and you've got elements.
Yeah.
You can drag things around, add videos, add images. It's got parallax built in, all that fun stuff. The cool thing that I really liked about this theme that ClickFunnels didn't have up until recently is the ability, let's say you have a section or a row that you want to copy and put on another page without having to rebuild the whole thing.
Right.
Here you can go and you can go here and actually save this entire row or this entire section and then use it on another page. So you can kind of like create parent things. ClickFunnels has that feature now too. I don't know if you know about it.
No, I didn't.
They added that, I don't know, a few weeks back, maybe a month or 2 ago at the most, I think.
Okay.
So I requested that feature from them. I don't know if they implemented it because of me, but if they did, I'll take the credit for it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. But they have that now. So it's cool. So that was an advantage of using this over ClickFunnels for a little bit, but now they both have it. So.
Right.
But yeah, so you're familiar with this, you said, so I don't have to probably show you too much. But this is essentially, what you can do. So it's very similar now to the ClickFunnels experience.
Nice. That's very key.
Cool. So we went over the second item on the list, creating video 2 page and video 3 page. So just as to close that out, if we do have to use WordPress, are you okay with it, assuming that you can use this theme?
Yeah, no, I definitely am.
Okay. Okay. Again, I'm going to try to steer everybody away from it, but it's kind of like a plan B.
Yeah, exactly. It's good to have it there, just in case. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Item number 4, create survey on SurveyMonkey using questions from Sophia. Are you familiar with SurveyMonkey?
Yeah, used it a lot in the past. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Is there any style that you typically use, or is it kind of just general?
Pretty much just general. I'll show you the one that, have you seen the one for Colleen's funnel?
I probably have.
Show it to you real quick. It's really basic, nothing super fancy. Usually 3 to 10 questions at the most.
Okay,
This is what Colleen's looks like. It's 6 questions.
Okay.
So real simple. So you basically just take Sophia's questions and pop them in here. Make it look decent and clean. And
yeah.
The way that I embed it in ClickFunnels on the page is once the survey is built in SurveyMonkey, rather than choosing their embed on website feature, I say share the link, and then I just copy the link and I create a custom iframe code here so I can make it exactly the width and height and things that I want to fit inside the ClickFunnels page.
Okay, got you. So height 3000.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you have a better way to do this, I'm totally open to that, but this is what I found so far to be the best way to integrate it.
Okay, and customize it a bit. Okay, yeah, no, I like that.
Yeah. The main thing here to note, just real quick, the main thing is making the height greater than it needs to be so that it appears properly and fully on desktop, mobile, tablet, and all that good stuff.
Okay.
But again, if you have a better way to do that in the future, totally open to it.
Never know. Experimenting with all these, you never know.
Yeah.
It's always evolving.
Yeah, so with this, basically, you create, again, a copy of the video 3 page, for example, that you had already made. You add it to the funnel. You move it up to the proper funnel position. You delete everything on the page, essentially, except for this, then you'll add this custom JavaScript thing, paste in the code for the iframe. That's pretty much it. Again, SEO metadata. Just real simply change the title here so that if somebody does share it, and so that in the browser it shows up properly. That's pretty much that for that step.
Okay.
Any questions?
Nope.
In terms of the account, so I will give the option typically to the client to either add the survey inside my account if they don't want to create their own account right away, like if they don't want to start paying for it right away.
Right.
I'll let them do that. Otherwise, some other clients will just create an account right away. So depending upon that, you'll either create the SurveyMonkey survey inside their account or inside ours.
Okay.
So you'll just have to check in with me on that to see which option, if I haven't already told you.
Okay.
The next one, let's see. Create survey page. Yeah, we just went through that. So on WordPress, it'd be actually the exact same routine. You just duplicate one of the existing pages, swap out the content with the iframe for the SurveyMonkey, and that's it.
Yeah.
Create sales page on ClickFunnels or WordPress. So that's pretty similar as well. Typically, for the sales page model, you can use a template from one of our other funnels. Like you could maybe use Colleen's as the model. You could use the one from How to Eat and Grow Thin as the model. Whatever seems to feel right.
Right. For the copy, the feel.
Yeah. So you can either make that decision on your own, or you can ask me, hey, Trace, which one do you think we should use? And we can just basically figure that out and then, use one of them as a foundation.
Yeah. Okay.
Does that sound like a good plan? You have any suggestions? Okay.
Yeah, I know that sounds good to me. Kind of makes it a lot more scalable that way, right? Instead of having to recreate it. So yeah, no, I'm on board with that. From your past experience, have you found one that has been, converting the best, or is it really that really depends on the copier and the concept?
It really depends upon the copy. It depends upon the offer as well. Like we can do the best job in the world with the copy and the visuals and everything, but if the offer at the end of the day sucks, it's still not going to convert. So it's all completely independent. Yeah.
Okay.
But you'll notice a lot of the sales pages, they're all very similar in terms of the format. They'll have a bunch of different sections with different visuals and headlines and,
Yeah.
paragraphs and bullet points. And they're all very similar. One thing to note on the sales page, when I create sales pages these days, in ClickFunnels, let's create a new funnel step here as an example. Let's call it sales page. We'll never ever call it sales page, but just for the purposes here right now.
Yeah.
Create the funnel step. When you are choosing to create a new page, you have all these different types of pages, right? So under sales, you can create a sales page, a product launch page, an order form, and so on.
Yeah.
For the sales pages, I've actually been bypassing this, not creating one at all. I've been using just the order form.
Oh, okay.
And I'll show you why. Let's open Colleen's as an example. theepicsystem.com/program, I believe it is. It basically just eliminates a step. Not program. Register. There we go. So when you click register now or add to cart or whatever the button is, the call to action is, rather than it redirecting you to a completely new page, it just opens up the pop-up.
Oh, nice.
Or it's nice and simple. Yeah. So
it's such a pain about to do this. Okay. This component.
Yeah.
If you don't do it this way. Okay. That makes a lot more sense.
So from a setup standpoint, it makes things easier. It's one less page to create. And I think from a user experience perspective as well, it's nice because all the branding stays the same. The look and feel of the page is still the same as what they use to make the decision to purchase. They're simply just filling out the form to get it done. So
right. Okay, good to know. That's definitely a good little nugget. Okay.
Yeah. So again, you can pretty much use this template for most of our launches. You don't really have to customize too much here except for the offer details and whatnot. When you get to this, of course, we can go back and forth and you can ask any questions you have, but pretty simple.
Yeah.
Go back here, sales page. Go ahead.
I was going to say, when it comes to customizing the copy inside that order form, how does that work? Like, how can you actually edit each field in there?
I will show you. Let's go here. And let's go to the one for the Epic system. And for this, I'm going to go back to Colleen's actual account because it'll have some additional things like the product configuration that I want to show you. So, Colleen in. All right, order. And we'll edit the page. Okay, so here we're editing the sales page, aka order form page.
Okay.
And so, of course, here this is the actual sales page. There's no actual form fields here, but you know how to do that. But you go to the pop-up, show pop-up.
Yeah.
And it'll show you the order form, and here you can customize anything you want, just as you would normally on the page.
Okay, yeah, nice. So,
and there are additional fields that you can add in here. So by default, we're using first name, last name, email address, credit card number. So this credit card package, basically, and then also the order summary. Right. But let's say the launch, they're actually going to ship something to people, so you can also add on the field for
address or
it's let's see, shipping address.
Okay.
You can even ask a little survey question. I've never really used it yet. I haven't had the need to, but I don't know, what is your favorite color? Whatever question you might want to ask, right?
Yeah.
So billing address also. So with Stripe, it's really cool. You don't have to force people to add their type in their billing address. It's nice, but if you did want to collect it for some reason, you can add billing address. You can add shipping address. You can add an SMS sign-up form as well. So ClickFunnels integrates with a third-party SMS service as well. I've never used it before, but you can also do that as well. So a bunch of cool things that you can do here on the order form.
Right. Okay.
But typically, we'll probably keep it nice and simple. Just use these basic fields. The fewer things people have to input, the higher the conversion rate typically.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, that's good to know that.
Yeah. And then in terms of, so here, the payment option, this section is called select product. Here you don't actually configure the products, right? Are you familiar with how to configure the products that actually show up here?
No, I haven't done it before. No.
Cool. So we'll go through that now as well. So that doesn't happen here in the editor. We're going to exit the editor. And so here on the order form step page, we have the typical overview of the funnel step, automation, products, and publishing. So products is where we want to go to customize the products that are actually available as options.
Okay.
So here in Colleen's case, we offered a full pay and 3 easy payments. So for the full pay, let's say, again, I'm not going to do it here in her live account, but let's say we were adding this brand new. I'm going to edit it rather than add it brand new. But let's say we want to do, add a new product that would be available. Just enter the name as you want it to appear on that page.
Okay.
Enter the price. Now this is the price not as it appears, but actually what's going to be charged.
Okay.
And then here is how it actually appears on the page. So if you want to say only, you can do that. You can basically put anything here that you want.
Right.
ClickFunnels also has something called a bump. Are you familiar with what a bump is?
No, what's that?
It's not what my wife has. It's not a baby bump. A bump is basically, let me pull up the order form again here. So here's the options where you can choose the full pay or the payment plan. And then if you have a bump, it's a section that will appear here that has a checkbox that you could configure to say something like, yes, please also subscribe me to blah, blah, blah offer. It's basically an upsell without having an upsell video and everything. It's just like a box that they can check to add one more thing onto their order.
Okay, gotcha.
I typically don't use that in funnel designs natively to date, but maybe in the future there'll be a case where we want to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, but that is a feature. So if it is a bump, you want to check the box to make that the bump offer.
Right.
And then under Stripe integration, you can need to specify whether it's one time or if it's a subscription. Subscription meaning, of course, recurring payments.
Right.
So these are the basic parameters of what's going to appear and what is actually going to be charged to the customer. And then you can also enter the product description here, which apparently will show up on some people's bank statements. It's kind of cool.
Nice. Okay. Yeah.
So we'll only show the company name. Like in Colleen's case, I forget what her company name is, but it'll say the company name and this product as well on the statement.
Okay.
Yeah. So whatever the product name is, you pretty much just want to put that here. There is a limit of 22 characters, so you might have to get creative a little bit with how you explain it here, but
okay,
that's that. Other thing on this tab that's really important is the fulfillment email. So this is where it'll say, hey, welcome to whatever you just bought. Typically I'll include the first name and then copy here about, all about what they just bought, this welcoming them and this kind of thing. To be honest, this, I didn't actually really, I think in our design here, I have a flaw. I don't think I outlined who's going to actually make that copy. Did I send it to Sophia? I don't think I did. So either I'm going to write that or Sophia should write it, or if you want to write it, I'm open to you volunteering, but we got to figure out who's going to write that. Typically it's always been me.
Okay.
But somebody needs to write it, whether it's me or you or Sophia or whoever.
Yeah. Maybe
so
Sophia, that would be ideal because
I think that's what that way it can flow. Yeah, it can flow with the copy that she's written throughout the funnel. Yeah. So if you don't mind, I'm going to add that here while I'm thinking about it. Here. Okay, I'll give more detail on that. So in that case, you will get the copy from Sophia and paste it in here.
Yeah.
The main important thing to note about this email is people need to be able to access whatever they bought, right? Let's say typically it's going to be a course membership area or something like that. So there's a dynamic field that ClickFunnels uses. It's pound product thank you page pound, and it will dynamically input the URL for the actual members page after they buy.
Okay.
And this will update based upon what product they chose. So if we have multiple products with multiple thank you pages, it'll populate the proper one here based upon what they chose.
Okay.
So you'll typically want to make sure that this is intact.
And where do you even get that? Like, where do you get this code per se? Like, yeah.
When you create a new product, it'll have like 3 lines here that says, hello, thank you for your purchase. Here's your product thank you link. And then it has this, and then it says thanks.
Oh.
So it has a real generic template that you can use and just customize.
Okay.
Yeah. So it'll be right there for you to just take Sophia's copy. And basically the only thing you have to make sure you don't delete is this.
Right.
That'll be there.
Okay.
If you, let's say you do that and you lose it, just pretend you're going to create another product. You'll find it again. Somewhere there is on ClickFunnels site, there is a little article that they wrote that explains all the custom fields. You can also find it somewhere in their help database as well.
Okay.
Or you can find me.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, it's there as a template when you create the product the first time.
Yeah.
And so whatever page you choose here, under thank you page membership access is what will be linked to here.
Okay.
So that being said, one of the pages that you create when you're creating all the pages inside the funnel is going to be, close this out. It's going to be an order confirmation page. Check it out. It's going to be an order confirmation page as well as a thank you page. It's not, I guess I don't have it appearing in the funnel. It's going to be this one here. In fact, let me add it to the funnel so we can actually see it. That would be good. Why? I'm logged into her account. Is there something? Is there an issue? Member dashboard. There you go. I was looking in the wrong section. Okay, so let me back up for a second. So again, right now, when we're looking at your tasks here, we're on create sales page. So you're clear on creating the actual sales page, creating the order form, right?
Yeah.
I go back here to the products just again one more time. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything before we go off on the next segment. Sales page. Where are you, sales page? Am I blind? Here. I think she accidentally drugged things around. She's in here playing around too now. The member dashboard should be here. Luckily, the funnel's not live right now, so it's fine. But
yeah.
Okay, so order page. The change. So under product, so we were last talking about adding the product. So again, when you're adding the product, you add all the basic info here: price, name, all that jazz. Fulfillment email, copy that you get from Sophia. Make sure you include the product thank you page link.
Okay. And
again, so before you do this step, you're actually going to have created an order thank you page already. In this case, I called it member dashboard. And the type of page, again, when you're adding a new page, you can add an order confirmation page, you can add a sales page, you can add an order form page,
right?
And you can choose a thank you page. So the kind of weird thing, the way that ClickFunnels designed it, the thank you page actually isn't under sales, it's under opt-in. So you're going to actually create an opt-in thank you page as the member dashboard page where people can actually access their stuff. So it's kind of weird that they didn't create a second version, but yeah.
Okay.
So when you create this page, you just want to make sure that you create it as an opt-in thank you page rather than a sales order confirmation page. Okay. Now, that being said, you do need the sales order confirmation page as well. So you can see here, there's the order confirmation page and there's the member dashboard page.
Right.
And again, I don't know why these are out of order. I don't know if she was playing around, but this should actually be up here. So the proper order is you have basically all the funnel pages here, and then you've got the order page, you've got the order confirmation page, and then you've got the member dashboard or whatever we decide to call it, where people can actually access their stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So just to be clear, the order confirmation page looks like this. It just says basically, hey, thanks for your order. It's complete.
Right.
And down here will be whatever products they chose to purchase. So it's very simple. It's what they see immediately after they finish their order.
Right.
Whereas the member dashboard, which is the email that's actually going to, the link that's actually going to be in this product email, looks like this, where they actually have access to all the class materials.
There we go. Okay.
So does that make sense, or am I kind of going in circles and confusing?
No, that makes a lot more sense. Yeah, I was just kind of confused by the titles, but now since you clarified,
Okay.
register or confirmation member dashboard. Now I understand.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So just to recap and be a broken record. So order page. So the type of page, it's sales order. Yeah. And then the order confirmation, the type of page, it's sales order confirmation. And then the member dashboard or product access or whatever we end up calling it is going to be opt-in thank you.
Opt-in thank you. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And in the member dashboard, or sorry, in the, I think it's the member dashboard, you had it linking out to the different, for example, products or courses.
That was under the order confirmation page here, yeah.
Order confirmation, sorry. Where did all those link to? So for example, I just want to go back. Yeah.
Like this, for example?
Oh, actually, no. It's I think the member dashboard one.
Okay.
Yeah.
This one?
Yeah, this one. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's all click here to download week 1 slide. Okay, so it's all PDF, most likely downloads, etc. Right?
Yeah, this is going to vary for every single client. It depends upon what they're selling, right? So in this case, Colleen was teaching a live webinar class, so people would have to attend every week to attend the live webinar. And so initially, what's here is she was using Zoom as well, so she would copy and paste the links and stuff that she got from Zoom on this page. Okay. And then after the webinar was done, she would actually record it just like we're doing now. Then she would upload the recording to YouTube, and then she would delete the stuff about accessing it live and add in the replay here. And then also add in the button to do slides. So ideally, most of our clients, this is the first time they're doing this, first time they're using ClickFunnels. So what I did in this case with Colleen is I set up this page like you're going to do with the template based upon having the live Zoom links. Yeah. And then I just had a call with her explaining her how to delete that and swap it out with the replay. And then she then took it from there and did everything. She stumbled a couple times and had questions, and I was there to support her. And then that was that. So we kind of create the infrastructure for them, have a call with them, explain to them how to make the updates. And then we're there to kind of hold their hand the first couple times they do it. And then it's all on them. So basically I did that for the first 2 classes with her, and then from there she added all the rest on her own. Okay. So the only thing she also did come back is she added these bonuses, but they didn't look that pretty. So she said, Trace, can you please go make them look better? So I came in here and just added a couple other sections with images behind them and stuff, and made it look better for her. But typically at this point, the responsibility is on the client. Again, I don't charge people extra for doing little things like that typically, but that's up to everybody who's doing it. Right. Okay. Questions?
Nope, all good now.
Okay. So again, we're still kind of on this item here, creating the sales page. So let me see, did I add? Actually, I think I have a separate product or a separate section for adding the product, don't I? How do I have it here set up? Yeah, configure product payment gateway purchase email automation. So we're kind of looking at 2 things right now. We're looking at creating the order form and sales page, and we're looking at configuring the product right now.
Okay.
So I think you're clear on customizing the sales page and the order form.
Definitely, yeah.
Right. So let's continue talking about configuring the product. Here it is. So again, we're on the products tab and we are configuring a product. And we were on the fulfillment email. So again, once you create that opt-in thank you page, then you're going to choose it here. And then this link will go there. Okay. You can alternatively, instead of using this dynamic link, you can just paste the hard URL, the funnel step URL here as well. The end result is the same thing. The nice thing here is if you do change that page or do whatever, it'll automatically change.
Right. Okay.
but you do have the option. As an example, I just set up a couple of funnels for Peggy, like the 21-day author stuff.
Yeah.
We didn't set up the member dashboard content to be inside ClickFunnels. It's still actually hosted on her WordPress site.
Mm-hmm.
So I just pasted in the address to that page on her WordPress site rather than using the ClickFunnels native functionality. So you have flexibility of where you can send people. If you want to send people someplace else, you can.
Okay.
Another thing, which we won't talk about today, but just so that you're aware, there is the ability, which of course you know, to create an actual membership area where people can log in with a username and password and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So the only client with ClickFunnels that we're doing that with right now is Rick Henningsen, is How to Eat and Grow Thin. We are using that functionality. And so basically here, instead of choosing this opt-in thank you page, you would actually create a separate funnel that is a membership site funnel, and then you would be able to choose that here instead. And that's where it would send people to.
Okay.
More than likely for most of our clients, we'll keep things simple and use this. But in the future, we may, like in the case of Rick's case, actually implement the membership site as well.
Okay.
But most clients like to keep it simple. So
that's always nice. That's always good.
Yeah, it's good. I concur. Okay, so that's the fulfilling email tab.
Okay.
The email integration tab as well. When people buy a particular product, typically we want to add them to an email list that exists for that particular product.
Right.
And so we need to actually create that list before we get to this step. So I'm actually kind of going out of order. So we'll drop this for now, and I'll start following the actual order that I have things in here on the spreadsheet, and it'll be less confusing. So sales page on ClickFunnels or WordPress. I think no more questions on creating the actual sales page in order form, right? So we'll say cool for that one. Create privacy policy, terms of use, disclaimers page on ClickFunnels or WordPress using copy that we received either from Banafshe or the client. So I don't remember if I or Jared have talked to you, but we're actually looking at bringing an attorney onto the team who will help people out with their legal stuff, like creating a privacy policy and this terms and conditions and all that sort of stuff that they need to do business.
Yeah, Jared mentioned.
Okay, cool. So you'll either receive that stuff from her or from Jared, or we'll get it directly from the client. Somebody will come up with that content, and provide it.
Okay.
So in terms of creating that, basically you can copy the video one page or whatever page from the funnel that already exists that you want, and just swap out the content with the privacy policy, for example. And you'll do all the steps of, setting the URL here, setting the URL there, setting the SEO metadata. You don't have to worry about an image for that, but basically same routine, just different content.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'll show you an example of Colleen's here. So this one's extremely basic. Typically, they're going to be longer and more drawn out if they actually get it from an attorney like Banafshe or somebody else.
Right.
So there'll probably be multiple paragraphs and stuff, but that'll be pretty self-explanatory.
Okay.
Any questions about that?
Nope.
Okay. Cool. All right, so next step, create email list for leads and create email list for customers. So when people come into the funnel, we want them to go to an actual list inside ClickFunnels so that we can easily segment them. And same thing when they actually buy a product, we want them to go to a customer's list.
Yeah, okay.
So inside ClickFunnels, you don't have the functionality to do that unless it's a full Edison suite, the $297 a month. The basic $97 a month doesn't give you that option.
Okay.
So our clients will all pretty much be using the full Edison suite, which enables Actionetics here.
Right.
So if we go to Actionetics and email lists, you can see how we did it for Colleen. We have the Epic System free training. So when everybody comes into the funnel, they get added to that.
Yeah.
And then we have the Epic System customers, and then there's a specific date since it was a live program. So basically just we click add new list, and we create two with two completely different names here.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the extent of actually creating the list in the system.
Okay.
Add new list, type the name for the free training, add another new list, type the name for the customers.
Okay. Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Now, once that is done, you have to go back to the funnel and the funnel step. So we'll go to the Epic system, for example. So on the opt-in page, there is a tab called Automation. And here we need to add a new action. So you can see here it exists already. It says add to list.
Yeah.
We'll add new list, add new action, and we'll say add to free leads list or whatever we want to call it. This isn't visible to anybody, so we can call it whatever we want.
Okay.
The condition is everyone who visits the page and enters their name and email. That all stays the same. Add to list, and then we choose which list they should be added to.
Okay.
So in this case, it would be the free training one. We also don't need to add any kind of delay, so we can leave that tab alone. It's going to be immediate. Then you just hit create funnel action. And so that's what actually connects the opt-in page to that email list.
Okay.
Same thing then when we're configuring the product, which we'll go through a little bit later again, but just so that we can see here again, when we're creating the product on the order form page, when we're adding it in, under email integration, it's going to be Actionetics. It's going to be add to list. And it's going to be, we choose that we add to the customers list rather than the free training list.
Right.
Another thing that I typically like to do as well is when people place an order, it's not tied to, let's see, looks like I might not have done it for Colleen, but I like to add an action that removes them from the leads list as well, so that they're not continuing to get the email promotion if they've already bought.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So on the order page, actually, no, it's going to be on the order confirmation page. Sorry. On the order confirmation page under automation, we're going to add a new action that says remove from leads list or something like that. I'm going to say remove from list, and then remove them from the free training so that they don't continue to get the promotion after they purchase.
Okay. Okay.
Makes sense?
Makes sense. I love these little nuts and bolts with ClickFunnels. Gotta love it.
Yeah, there's lots of little things, and the unfortunate thing is they'll continue, 2 weeks from now it could be different.
Right. They kind of keep you on your toes.
Exactly, yeah. But generally things stay the same. They just get shifted around and, redesigned. I know that they're planning to come out with some big changes in September. I know that they're creating a brand new marketing funnel. I don't know how much inside the system is going to be different, but I know that they're working on some big stuff. So be prepared in September for changes.
All right. Right when I get the hang of it. All right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right when you got your groove, it's like, oh, shit.
Yeah. Here we go again.
That's life. I found that's life, yeah.
Yeah.
So any more questions about creating the email list for the leads?
Nope. Got that established for sure.
Cool. And same thing for the customers?
Yeah.
So as a side note, that's different from actually adding the autoresponder sequences, right? So far all we've done is create the list, which actually has nothing to do with the actual autoresponder. So that'll be a separate step.
Right. Okay.
So that's the next step. Create autoresponder sequence for leads and add all the email copy that you received from Sophia. So to do that, once we have these lists made, we go back to Actionetics, and then we go to Action Funnels. That's what ClickFunnels calls an autoresponder sequence. It's called an action funnel. Okay. So we'll go over there. And as you can see for Colleen, we have one created for the free training that has 7 different emails in it, 7 different funnel steps. Okay. That goes over the course of 5 days. So to create a new one, you just click create a new action funnel. You'll give it a name. Typically, I'll call it, whatever the funnel name is, and then free training or whatever makes logical sense. Okay. And then you want to assign the list that you made that should receive these emails. So in this case, it's going to be the free training one. And you also need to select an SMTP configuration.
What is that again? Sorry.
So the SMTP configuration, let me actually go to the spreadsheet here. I have this here somewhere. I guess I should probably move it up here. Create SMTP here. This actually needs to be done earlier. So let's fix that in the order of things. Bam. And let's move that up. Should be done. I'll change that number and make it correct later. So the SMTP server. So typically, like with Aweber, One Shopping Cart, Infusionsoft, a lot of these other service providers, they actually send the emails for you through their servers. So when you're using their service, like the server that they're using to actually send your emails, it's actually built into them. ClickFunnels doesn't actually send the emails for you. So they have the interface to design the emails and send them, but the sending, that doesn't actually physically happen through them. It actually needs to happen through a third party.
Okay, gotcha. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, so they work with several different third parties. We'll go over here. The area that you can configure this is under account and under SMTP settings.
Okay.
And you can see here they work with SendGrid, Mandrill, Amazon SES, and Send13.
Okay.
I have a contact at ClickFunnels, and I had a Skype call with him last year. And he said that their preferred provider is SendGrid. So I just took their word for it, and that's what I've been using personally and for the clients. The integration is also very easy. At the time, a year ago, you could actually create a free SendGrid account, so it actually also did not cost anything, which was cool. They did update their pricing model, though, within the last year, so you do have to pay a minimum payment now to use them. But so SendGrid is essentially what we're using. And for all of the Awesomeness Company clients, to get their funnel off the ground until they start getting tons and tons of traffic and like sending thousands of emails, I add them as a sub-user of my SendGrid account. So I'm actually paying monthly for SendGrid.
Yeah.
And then I can add all of our clients as sub-users until they're really rocking and rolling, and they basically at the point where they need to where they're sending a lot of emails, then they have to start spending an additional $80 a month for a dedicated IP to be able to send all that additional email traffic. So I'm kind of buffering them in the beginning. We're buffering them at the Awesomeness Company, and then at some point we'll switch. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, nice. I like that.
So the step here in the spreadsheet is to integrate SendGrid and ClickFunnels with the Awesomeness Company dedicated SMTP IP. So I'll show you how to do that now, if you would like.
Yeah, let's do it.
Are you on brain overload yet?
No, I'm just like, no, I'm all right for sure.
Okay, the replay will probably be your friend in the future. We can always go through this again as well in the future. So just let me know what you need.
It's just good old ClickFunnels, like you said. It's not going to be the most exciting, so I'm just like, okay, guys. Gotta try to stay.
Yeah. So we'll go to sendgrid.com, and I will give you my account's username and password to log in.
Okay.
So we'll log in.
So did they say why they prefer SendGrid over the other third-party sites?
Mainly reliability. And price as well. They're one of the less expensive options. So it's basically those are the two reasons. Their pricing is reasonable, and their deliverability rates are high. So the cool thing is, like, for all of our clients, when they get their own accounts, and in this case, for our account, I have a dedicated IP address, which means it's not shared with anybody else on their system. So the only reason that we would have a bad email sending reputation is if I or one of our clients gets spammy and they get tagged by a bunch of servers on the internet that it's bad quality. Right. Okay. So it's pretty cool. And $80 a month, it's not too bad for sending 100,000 emails. So
really, 100,000.
Yeah, the cost is reasonable. Yeah, it's very reasonable. Yeah, and it's also super easy to integrate, and they have a great interface here. Like, one of the cool things is as well, you can track all the stats. You can see if emails are bouncing. You can see if people are reporting you as spam. You can see specifically who. Nice. It's very detailed as well with all the statistics. So
that's good. Yeah,
it's a cool interface.
Shows your reputation, emails remaining. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
So for this task, for this routine, you log into my account like we just did, and you go to settings, and then you will go to sub-user management.
Okay.
And then you'll see a list of the existing clients who are set up as sub-users.
Is there a cap for how many sub-users you can have? Or
Not that I know of. No, I think there's no limit. The only limits are, the email sending limit. But besides that, yeah.
Okay.
So you can see the reputation as well for each sub user.
Nice. Gotta love that.
Yeah.
Good
So
reputation.
yeah, so far so good. Good email copy.
Yeah.
You can also see that like the number of emails being sent out recently this month, it's not huge numbers, so that
Right.
contributes to things too. So we'll create new sub user,
Okay.
and then typically I'll enter their name. So in this case, let's just say Colleen and 2. We already have one for Colleen. So first name underscore last name is typically what it'll be.
Okay.
Enter an email address. The email address that we're actually using and we want people to see as a send to address. So like it's typically support at whatever the domain is, or maybe it's Colleen at whatever the actual email is here that we want to publicly be seen.
Right.
That'll also be used as the reputation kind of parameter here as well, in addition to the server IP.
Okay.
And then a password. You can create any password you want as long as you know what it is. And then you have to choose what IP address you want this sub-user assigned to. I only have one IP address, so there's only one to choose from right now.
Okay.
You just check that box.
Yeah.
And that's it. Then you can click Create Sub-User. Yeah. So now we have this new sub-user for support at theepicsystem.com. Again, the sub-user username is Colleen_and2.
Okay. Yeah.
And once you have this, there's one more step that you need to do so that ClickFunnels knows when somebody has unsubscribed or been reported an email as spam or something like that. So far we've added the sub-user to the account. Now what we want to do is we want to actually switch to the sub-user's account so we can continue configuration.
Okay.
So I'm just going to click my name up here.
Yeah.
And then go to switch user. And then choose Colleen and 2.
Okay.
Which is what we just made. And then down here, under mail settings,
So I guess basically once you kind of get, oh, sorry, what were we going to say?
I was going to say it's thinking about it. It's spinning. Go ahead.
Take a little while. I was going to say, so once you kind of get into the flow, it kind of is a routine sort of system, right? Of course,
Yep.
other than the copy and all the aesthetics of the page, I guess that might be a little bit different because that's a bit more customizable. But everything else is kind of just a big checklist.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's a lot of steps involved, but you can kind of, once you get it down, then you can kind of.
Yeah, the mechanics are pretty much following the model. It's really the creative part that is unpredictable, right? Like you said, it's the
Right.
copy, it's the sales pages and stuff like that. All ends up looking a bit different.
Right.
Based upon a model, but it ends up being different. The main thing that may or may not exist for some funnels, like some funnels will include a webinar, which means webinar registration page, webinar live page, webinar replay page, and then
Right.
an email sequence associated with the webinar too. Some funnels will have that, some won't. So even that, it's an additional bunch of pieces that get added
Right.
in. So again, it's a predictable model.
Okay.
So it's really the dynamic variables are the copy and the visuals essentially.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So here under mail settings, we want to go to event notification.
Okay.
We want to turn it on. And then we need to paste in a URL here, which we get from the actual ClickFunnels account. It has to be specific to this user that we're working with. So we can add SMTP configuration here.
Okay.
And then typically I'll call it SendGrid Awesomeness and it's going to be the from name is going to be how we actually want it to appear in people's inboxes. So it'd be only we're using that in this case. So just enter all the details. All this information is available in the ClickFunnels help database. You can always hit me up as well. I have it all memorized now because I've done it so many times. You
Yeah.
will too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here we enter the username that we just made and the password that we just made as well. I have a little secret for a lot of clients. I use the same password for this because it's it's not really top secret. It just sends emails. It doesn't actually give anybody access to anything. So you can always use this password if you want, or you can create something that's up to you.
That's quite the elaborate password.
Yeah, the backstory to this is I used to be an IT guy too for a lot of companies, and way back when I used to have to install Windows XP on a lot of machines, and I always used the same license way back when. So it's a part of that license key. I actually memorized the whole license key.
Oh my God.
So this is a part of it.
Nice. I like it.
Uh,
Kind of gives you perspective, of how far you've come.
yeah, exactly. So these are all the basic details. This will pretty much all give me the same exactly the same every single time, except for the client's actual name,
Okay.
right, and the email address here, the username. There's also an SMTP footer. You'll get this as well as a template from me. It has the client's physical address to compile as canned spam. I usually add in a little cute thing like sent from the desk from client's name. So I'll give you that, but you'll just type that in here, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
The main thing to make sure that you include as well is there's this dynamic tag. It's _sub pound. So people can unsubscribe.
Okay, yeah.
So that'll also be in the template that I give you. So you pretty much don't need to worry about it, but just be aware that that's there and needs to be there and needs to be working.
Yeah.
So you enter in these details, you click default SMTP configuration because it'll typically be the default. So now here's this address, which is why we came here in the first place. This SendGrid webhook address. We need to copy this and paste it over here in SendGrid under this event notification section. So this basically allows ClickFunnels to send messages to SendGrid and vice versa. It's kind of like establishing the two-way communication between the two.
Okay.
And you want to allow this for dropped, unsubscribe from, and mark as spam.
Okay. Yeah. Typical. Yeah.
Yeah, and bounced as well. Those 4.
Okay.
So that way ClickFunnels gets informed and people can be removed from the list and stuff if the client wants that. So you just choose that, you hit the little blue check mark, and you are good to go.
Nice.
You can click the test your integration button, but I've never actually noticed it do anything. I think that the ClickFunnels account owner will get an email notification. They usually don't forward it to me. Sometimes they do. So, but if you follow the steps, you're pretty much guaranteed it's going to be working. So,
okay,
that's that. So that's how you configure SendGrid. So basically, it was a couple-step process. Number 1, create a sub-user underneath our account. Number 2, start adding the SendGrid configuration inside ClickFunnels. And step 3, configure the event notification so that they can talk to each other through these platforms.
Okay.
So once this is all set, you just hit the Create SMTP Integration button. And then after you do that, you can also click this button to verify the settings. And again, the ClickFunnels account owner, so the client will receive an email saying, hey, this is a test email. But in addition, this one is useful because it will also say here at the top, successfully sent. So if it doesn't, then that means there's a problem with the username or password or something. So that way you can validate that this is working.
Okay.
Even if the client doesn't forward the email to you.
Right. Okay.
So once that's there, back to what we were originally doing when we were creating the action funnel, you can select that you just added as the SMTP server.
Okay.
So that'll probably make more sense when you come back and watch the replay.
Oh yeah, a little bit.
But so far, kind of makes sense for now, at least.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, basically all the steps except for that one. That's a little bit of a longer step, so it'll take a little bit of implementation. Especially because I haven't used it before. Like ClickFunnels, I've used quite a bit, so I'm a little bit more aware. So
yeah,
yeah.
Cool. How are we doing for time? Do you need to split so you can prepare for your next thing?
Unfortunately, so like I do have a meeting at 10. So would we be able to realign, say, maybe 2 days from now? Like I'm going to Sapel tomorrow because they're going to Seattle on Wednesday to the end of the week. or
Okay.
until the weekend. So I won't be there Wednesday. I won't be there Thursday, of course. I only typically go there Thursdays. But
Mm-hmm.
what's
So
your
you
schedule
swap.
like? Yeah, later in the week.
How's Thursday? I was actually going to ask you. I know Thursday is typically not possible for you, but is it possible for you this week, given that
Definitely.
information?
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
100%. Yeah.
that's the only day I still have free this week. So
Well, there we go. That works out. So what time Thursday would work for you? Kind of typical 8 a.m.? That work for
yeah,
you?
eight's good. Yeah, so that's 5 p.m. my time. We can do 8 a.m.
Okay. Or one
And,
sec here. I think I might have. Um, I actually have a meeting. Sorry, from 8 to about 8:30, 8:45.
mhm.
Could you do say 9 to 11 or
Yeah, we can do that.
yeah, does that work for you? Or is
Yeah,
that too?
you think you can make it by 9? Is that not too much stress for you?
Yeah, no, definitely not. I think I can make it by 9.
Okay,
It's just kind of a check-in meeting, so it shouldn't be that long.
okay. Yeah, that's cool. So 6 p.m. my time, 9 a.m. your time. That's good with me. I guess to be safe, we should reserve 2 hours again.
Yeah,
if that works for you.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. I think it's better this way, kind of just get it all done, get it established, and
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, then you'll have a reference to go back to look at stuff when you actually start to go and create things, and at least until then as well, the dots will start to connect, right? So
exactly, yeah. And I learned by doing so. Once I kind of get actually,
yeah,
implementing it, it's going to get that much easier. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
perfect.
cool. Sounds like
Well,
a plan.
yeah, thanks a lot for your time, and yeah, let's realign on Thursday and get the rest done, and then go from there.
All right, sounds good. Thank you for your time today. Good to see
No,
you.
thank you. Are you done for the day? Or are you kind of gonna get back to work for a bit here? I
I'm
know
gonna
it's
get back to work. Yeah, normally I would be done for the day because my wife would be home, but she's out. She's doing something, so she'll be out for another probably hour and a half. So I'll continue on working, get as much
nice.
done as I can.
Yeah, I like it. Right on, man. Cheers.
All right,
All right.
enjoy your next thing, and I'll see you on Thursday.
Sounds good, Trace. Have a great night. Cheers.
Thanks. You too.
Bye bye.
Bye.